give back value to it. About my introduction, I think enough has been said about me. Currently, I head the marketing for an FMCG company. Modi Naturals is an Indian FMCG company. The core categories we operate in is edible oil, which is a healthy premium olive oil space. And subsequently, we are also building another food category portfolio into multiple other product categories. But at this point of time, 90% of our business is edible oil, which is pure olive oil, blended olive oil, and that's the space we operate in. Overall, I have around 13, 14 years of experience completely into B2C or consumer marketing space. And I have, as was told in the introduction, I've worked across multiple industries. Fortunately, I work in luxury industry, I work in smartphone industry. I started my journey with media industry. So, I mean, I'm still a professional in the marketing space and also a student of marketing, I would say, still.
Thank you, Mukesh. Thanks a lot. Arundhati, over to you, please.
Hi. Again, thank you for coming and hearing us talk. Hopefully, we'll add a lot of value to given our experiences in this forum. I have worked for several years when I joined the IT industry, when it was a sunrise industry. I was fortunate to see the IT industry. When I was fresh MBA like you, I joined an industry. Everybody was joining banking and investment banking, etc. Whereas I joined IT, so I saw the boom in the IT industry, and then I went into CK Builder Group after many years, and which is also a very industry. It was more diversified, and now I work with SMEs, trying to bring in the best practices of larger organization into SMEs. I believe that they are in a very good space. The SMEs in India are in a very good space to be able to compete. Their products are no less than the MNCs or the large Indian mega sized organizations. And the only reason why they are smaller than these large organizations is because they don't have the kind of best practices that the larger organizations have. And that is my objective right now, is to bring in the best practices from 20 years of very mega large billion-dollar organizations into how can I take those best practices and tailor them for SMEs and get them to travel that journey. That's my focus right now.
Thank you, Arundhati. Jay, over to you, please.
Hello. Yeah. So my name is Jayatila Majumdar. Hello. So my name is Jayatila Majumdar. I have an experience of around 22 years. I primarily worked in two industries. One is telecom for a larger amount of time, and consumer durables or consumer electronics, as you say. And in between, I've spent time in fashion and apparel. Currently, I head organization as a strategic business unit head. So typically, strategic business unit head is a COO role in a normal organizations, which they take care of starting from the top line and bottom line both. I think the biggest challenge in consumer electronics industry is facing the multi-dynamism which is evolving over a period of time. So basically today, if we look at 5 years before, 80-85% of sale or almost around 70% sales were happening in GT, followed by around another 15% in modern trade and 10% in e-com. Now, category-wise, if we go back, there are categories which, I mean, later Mukesh will take you through, where actually, so there are a few categories which is getting evolved from e-com and then coming to on the other side of MT and GT. So the biggest challenge today we face about creating a right balance approach to get share from each channels. I mean, that is the consumer durables industry, starting from a handset to a smallest product like lighting, people are trying to find out the balance. Another biggest challenge which are coming up saying that people will talk about it. There is something called D2C, and D2C is a hot topic. Yeah, so that is another area which we are also trying to figure out, saying that what will happen, a larger organization like us, who thinks on a larger scale, but can't attack the small organizations which are coming out with very specific offerings to the consumers. I mean, this is the area we are working on.
So Jay, you mentioned about the change in the portion or the market share amongst the GT, MT and e-com. Everybody's aware about GT, MT, most of it, right? It's a basic question, but many times, so this is, I'm habituated, that's why I'm asking. Otherwise, many times I've got all kinds of answers. But the percentages that Jay did speak about, and this is an alarming thing. As a marketer, the evaluation of market and marketing. Here we are seeing the evaluation of market that is happening. MT, GT, and e-commerce. The percentages what they were few years back or decades back, or maybe 23 years back when I was in Pepsi, and when I used to go to these trades and on the road, I know what it was. There was no e-com or there was no online digital. Obviously, it's around 2000 or 97, 99. But now it has changed. So, Jay, my question to you is, which are the categories that are affecting this change predominantly, and then the reasons behind it, and we'll ask our other panelists as well.
So basically, two things are happening. One, which is a very large category. For example, I am talking about my categories. If you are not able to understand or connect, let me know. So, for example, a very commoditized category called fan, which people say nothing can be done. ये industry 5-6% grow करेगा अगला 20 साल. And everybody has a fan in their home, so there is no penetration story lying. Now there is a brand which has come called Atomberg, which has been started by two IIT IIM alumni, and that changed the scenario of the whole industry. And 5 years now we are talking about from 31st of December, will not allow to sell a non-rated fan, a 75 watt fan. Now it's a big change. The whole industry is going through a huge change. It has happened 7 years before when CFL to LED was getting converted. Now, these are larger industries which is going through changes because these smaller companies are showing the path. At that point of time in lighting, it has been shown by another startup called Cisco. And then there are another categories which is getting evolved from e-com. So, for example, I'm very sure here the male, the students which are using, I mean, they will be using a trimmer, correct? Almost 80% of you who are using their beard as a fashion statement, you are using trimmer as a product. Now, I'm very sure 80-85% of the consumer has bought it from e-com, correct? Now, I have a real struggle to say what I've created 10 years before or 5 years before for a trimmer product for GT. What will happen to that? Is that category is any more relevant to the general trade? Or should I, come out of it from the general trade? So, and probably he'll be talking about something called electric toothbrush, which has been started by e-com. Now, those categories which has a young customer base and trade doesn't understand the size of it. Okay, they can't predict the size of it. E-com is actually started driving those categories because they don't care about the kind of stocking happening at the multiple points. Because they manage the stocking at a digitally, they manage the stocking, correct? They are far more scientific in inventory management. So I think larger categories have a chances of disruptions, and the smaller categories which is evolving, completely evolutions are happening. Actually, a lot of categories are now becoming irrelevant for a general trade consumers, general trade retailers. So these are, I think, is the major two areas where the changes are happening. Now you can name it as a D2C player of FMCG or a fashion product, and could be anything. I mean, there are innerwear products like Devanche. If you check, Devanche is a pure play innerwear product company, which is 250 crore company, and sells all their male innerwear product only online. Okay, very very differentiated product. If you look at their product lines, very differentiated, very premium, but rightly priced. And typically a jockey or the valuation doesn't have an answer to it. Yeah. They are still finding out answers. So eventually what is happening, organization like our size, which is 700-800 crore organizations, is thinking about launching another B2C brand. Hindustan Lever has a brand called Indulekha, which is typically operates like a D2C. Okay. Now Indulekha gives a product which is very unique to the consumers. Okay, their offerings is very unique. They don't bought the company. They have started behaving like a kind of B2C company within the company. Okay? So I feel this is another area which is evolving, and B2C would be becoming more relevant to the consumers.
Thanks, Jay. Two, three things which I noted down. I have heard about it and I know the background. But how many of us, and it's not just you and me, but I'm just talking in general, it's a 250 crore brand, already reached 250 crores. And look at the other brands where they are, the Rupas and the jockeys of the world. And one statement what Jay spoke about and which Mukesh also noted is they don't have answers. Now this is what we call it as radical change. उसमें क्या है, men's innerwear category, it is as simple as that. But there is no answers to to this kind of a challenge that these young talks are posing or new startups are posing to the giants. And that's where the radical change is happening. And this is where the market and the marketing will be reevaluated. Coming to Mukesh, Mukesh did mention about some category creation. And you can carry on further with your experience and where do you feel about the example that he was mentioning also. How the categories are also created in today's marketing world or in today's market.
Sure. So let me start with a small personal anecdote. So my father is 75-year-old, and for the longest time I've been trying to gift him a smartphone. I will say, hey, please buy a smartphone so that we can call frequently, you can start using video calls or whatever. But he was always trying to deny it. I don't need a smartphone. My feature phone is good enough. I just need to make calls, SMS, and everything is not required for me. Then lockdown happened, and I have a 5-year-old son. So, jo dada aur pote ka pyar hota hai. So because they were separated, we are in a separate city. So obviously they were not able to travel. We were also not able to travel. So they wanted to have the video call. They want to see their grandson. And then they one day themselves called me and said, "Hey, order a smartphone for me." And then I asked one of my friends to visit them and taught him how to use WhatsApp, how to use video calling and all everything. So the point I'm trying to make is that digital adoption is inevitable. Sometimes you will take it with open arms, sometimes you will take it with folded arms, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen with all of us. And maybe that was sometimes it's circumstantial, sometimes it's emotional, there could be any reason. But digital is going to come to our life in one way or the other. And that is also what is happening professionally. Like what Sir just mentioned, how the digital is changing the landscape of sales as well as marketing. Let me give you 3 examples of my past 3 companies and how digital has touched upon each of these 3 companies. So I was heading the marketing for Rado watches in India, which is a luxury watch brand. And we had a global mandate that we will never sell on a third-party e-commerce website because we are a luxury brand, we are an experiential brand. We would only sell through offline channel, our stores, because the kind of maybe the values or the storytelling or the ambience or the environment we wanted to have, it can only be recreated through a physical store. And that was for the longest time, Indian team, we've been kind of pushing that we should have a digital presence, but we've been forced not to go into that. However, things changed last 2 years, and now we are also available on Tata Click Luxury. So again, it's the giants like Rado watches, which are almost 70, 80-year-old luxury brands, are now reevaluating their sales strategy. They are reevaluating their commerce strategy, and they are getting onto the digital Brandwagon. So now the third-party e-commerce channel is also relevant for a luxury brand like a Rado or any other premium luxury watch brand. Second example would be from the category. Before this, I used to work for Philips. And as I was mentioning, the trimmer category, almost 70% of the trimmer category of the personal care, men's grooming category in Philips is e-commerce. Only 30% is the remaining general trade or modern trade, which is huge. I mean, e-commerce is what, maybe 8 years, 9 years old in the country, but still if it's able to take away 70% share from e-commerce, that's big enough. I was leading a category of electric toothbrush. While it's a nascent category in India, it's overall the category would be around 120 crore. But this entire category in India is built on Amazon. Amazon, first player, Oral-B and Philips are the 2 key players in the space. Oral-B introduced electric toothbrush in India through Amazon. and they were selling through Amazon for the first 3 years. And right now, even today, almost 95% of the electric toothbrush category is on Amazon, and remaining now they're getting into Chromas of the world, or they're getting into the other e-commerce channel. So that's also one beautiful example how new categories, new product categories in the consumer goods space are getting created either through D2C channel, like a Dimension is a perfect example for that, or through a third party, which is a horizontal e-commerce player like Amazon. And now coming to the third example from my current organization, which is the FMCG organization. What I also feel that FMCG was among maybe the little last one to get onto this bandwagon, personal care, fashion, shoes, consumer durable. They moved to the e-commerce little early. But grocery shopping या साबुन तेल शैम्पू तो घर के पास के स्टोर से खरीद लेंगे या फिर वीकेंड पे बिग बाजार जाएंगे and we'll just buy in bulk and come together. But then things changed, and there could be multiple factors. One factor was obviously what Jio created, the telecom revolution in India. There's now almost 800 internet users in the country. Second thing was happened was obviously the lockdown. We were kind of forced to sit back at home and not go out. And third thing is maybe more and more focus and impetus given to the Q-commerce or the e-commerce channel. Before the lockdown, specifically for our company, I'm talking about the edible oil category, only 8% of the sales used to come from e-commerce, which in last 2 years has moved to almost 25 to 28%, which is huge. I mean, in last 2 to 3 years, you've almost tripled your market share in the contribution has been tripled. So again, the summary is that as some of you were already mentioning, that the radical shift which is happening in the industry, both from the personal point of view as well as from the professional point of view, that digital is here to stay. And even today, I mean, digital penetration is almost, I would say, about 8% of the entire commerce is e-commerce right now, which if you compare to maybe other Asian countries like China or South Korea or Indonesia, they range from 25 to 45% is e-commerce. So clearly the headroom for growth is immense, and which maybe by the time you guys will join into the forces, you will be in the corporate, I'm sure you guys will be leading this change from the front. And this category or the digital adoption is going to evolve to multiple heights.
That is just 1 or 2 years down the line. And this is going to happen because the third example happened in 2 years' time.
Yeah,
it was 8% in 2019-20 and now 25% in 2022. So in 2 years, 3 years' time, this has happened. And if you look at the historically all the categories, there are some categories who are early adopters as well. And we have seen those. But you know, the 3 examples that Mukesh gave, we have got, all the 3 have different learnings, but you know, it is, you all have heard about Kodaks and the other things, those brands who are dead now. You know, this is a common case study, even, you know, over the years, people have been preaching across the globe. And all these 3 companies have, decided or had to decide that they will not remain stagnant. Who moved my cheese? Philips or Rado watches, if they had not changed their strategy, we will not sell on the third-party website. They had to change. And this is the change that made them survive on today, right?
Absolutely.
Philips, trimmer category, 70% e-commerce, 30% general trade. This is mind-boggling number, you know. Electronic toothbrush, Amazon built it, 95% market share. Now, this is, electronic toothbrush is owned by Amazon in India is something what somebody can derive out of this 95 or 90%, whatever that number may be. And this is where you guys will have to think where marketing is going today and how the markets are evolving. Nobody can think, because you just close your eyes and think, what do you mean by 90% market share? And that too by a single company and on a single platform in a single way, and that is digital. And the last one was the edible oil, which we spoke about. So I think, Mukesh, thanks for these 3 examples. This are I can say this is the current mirror that Mukesh has shown us, and there are hundreds of examples like this across the categories. And across the markets also. And we have seen people now many times video shopping. People have been doing video shopping. So in 2020, when we were asking a jewelry brand, they said, for me, my customers do video shopping because it's a COVID time and they don't come to my shop. My average, or let's use the word, not average, the highest sale is worth 20,000 rupees. for a jewelry. And when I met them just couple of months back, it was 2 lakhs. Okay, video shopping. So started at 20,000. Today it has come to 2 lakhs. How many of us will do a 2 lakh rupees worth shopping through video? So this is happening. And the girls are buying their lehengas also, and the housewives are buying their jewelry also. And this has happened. This is a number which has been told to me as a student of research. I keep doing this in our trade. So this is where the market has gone. Thanks, Mukesh. I will come to Arundhati, and she also has a vast experience. So Arundhati, my question here would be, from a B2B marketing perspective, what would be the best practices or what's happening currently? If you can throw some light there also, from the psyche of the customer, because you consult with so many of them, and especially from my SME perspective.
So I'll talk to you about B2B first, and then maybe move to the SME, part of B2B. B2B also is changing significantly. The marketing was considered about, before my time. Marketing was B2B was more of relationship selling, more of referral selling, etc. Most of the new business was coming out of referral or increasing the share of wallet rather than any new customers were rare and far in between accepting from. So that is what changed with organizations like IBM deciding to move into the B2B space and let go of their Lenovo business or their ThinkPad business. And then Accenture came and pioneered the B2B marketing space. Right, so marketing became a partner of sales, and the benefit of marketing in the B2B space was exemplified. And Accenture made a lot of noise about how marketing is helping the B2B segment, and that this is the journey that we have traveled over the last 20 years. Even today, I get asked that what role does marketing have to play in B2B? And I have to say that because I have spent 25 years in B2B marketing. So if marketing doesn't play a role in B2B, then I wouldn't have had a role. But yeah, we did create people like us. We created a skill set for B2B marketing, which was not there. I was talking to Aryan and the team yesterday that I used to teach services marketing, and we pretty much created the course. There was no course material available, no case studies available for services marketing, which you will find significantly today. You will be moving into, a lot of you will be going into placements into B2B companies. So that is something that we need to work on. B2B marketing is different from B2C marketing. It's not so much numbers game or a platform game. It is about how do you understand the audience well. How do you understand the pain points of the audience well? And can you connect your messaging to the audience? This is an extremely important part of both B2C and B2B. But B2B, it is the crux of the matter. If you do not understand your marketing, if you do not understand your audience well, if you don't understand their pain points, then what are they looking for? What are they suffering? What is their concern area? What is it that they feel as a big hole in their strategy? If you don't understand that, then you will not, your marketing campaigns won't work. So the homework that you need to do in B2B marketing is huge. You have to spend 60% of your time on understanding your audience and creating the messages, and only 40% of your time then creating the campaign and testing the campaign, right? Testing is very important because you might have just spent 60% of the time, but don't think that I have spent so much time, so I'm correct. So test. So spend time researching, understanding your audience. The audience becomes your God, emperor, king, whatever you call it. The only one thing that you need to focus on is because B2B marketing, your product can be, your solution or your offering can be tweaked, but if your understanding goes wrong, then your product or your solution cannot be sold. So that said, B2B marketing is probably where 60%, 70% of you will be going into the B2B organizations, and therefore it will be important for you to understand B2B marketing and create that, the sales partner kind of a relationship. We don't work on brochures. I don't get into a conversation on what color should be your brand color. I ask the leader, you like pink? I'll put pink. Of course, if it's very, very different from the brand image that I want to create, I will say, no, pink won't work, red will work better because red is so and so. Other than that, if there's no big mismatch, we'll go with that. But it's a business partnership that happens when you are talking about B2B marketing. And understanding of audience, creating an offering which is as per the requirement. So, and that is the reason why I say it's a partnership between the organization and the marketing. You may need to change your offering given the inputs from marketing. That is a role that marketing plays in a B2B organization. Your offering itself may need to change because your audience has specific requirements. So broadly, that is what is B2B marketing. That said, SMEs is a segment that I've been working with for the last 5 years, and a large part of SMEs is in the, I'm not talking about micro enterprises, but I'm talking about small and medium. Small and medium, a large part of these organizations are in the B2B space, and they, when I started off, I started with the intention of taking a SME to the level of Accenture in the way they present themselves, in the way they, people see them, etc. But then I have realized that they have not done any marketing, thinking that B2B में marketing का कोई role नहीं है. So that is something that I have heard. And then when we start showcasing to them that role hai, we start small with them and take them through a journey. We don't, take them directly to the Accenture level or the TCS level or the CK Birla Group level, but we take them through a journey and showcase to them that marketing can make a difference to where you are, and then take them through that journey of 3-4 years where we keep educating, doing something, again educating, take them to another level and take them step by step. It's like this staircase, you don't fly up. You go step by step in a SME segment, and it's an extremely exciting segment to be in. I wake up every morning with a huge things, a lot of list of things to achieve that I have every morning, and it's quite exciting to be in the SME space. It's hard because you need to do a lot of education, and that's a slow process. But when you move up a couple of steps, it's always very exciting to see that you move Accenture. In Accenture, you will work, and the needle will move from here to here. But if you work in a SME, yes, you work, but you move the needle from here to here, right? And that is what is exciting. As marketing people, we love to see impact, right? We love to see impact. I'm sure everybody will agree on the panel that we work for impact. So when you work for Accenture, you see so much impact. When you work for an SME, you see so much impact. It's almost a huge impact, and that's the reason why I'm in marketing. And I chose this segment. It's an underserved segment. It is a segment of the future, just like IT was when I was like you. IT was a segment of the future. And MSMEs are the segment of the future, I think. That's what I believe. And, and as students, B2B should be a very important learning that you focus on B2B marketing, look for case studies in B2B marketing, HBR, etc. And has all business schools have less number of articles in B2B, but go to them.
Thanks, thanks Arundhati. B2B is the future and it's the present also. We have seen Arundhati, giving, it was a classic speech. I could relate to the services thing that you spoke about. There were no case studies. I also remember 25, 27 years back, we used to have services marketing, but case studies were very, very less. No research, the kind of research in the product management that we used to have was not there. Arundhati did speak about the pain points of the audience, and that's where we all have to understand. So you as a marketer is again a learning for all of us, is spend maximum number of time, whether B2B, B2C or D2C or C2C or B2B2C. And it will also it ends at B and C, doesn't go till Z. But it will, the bottom line here is understand the pain points of the audience. So even in communications, what we do is, this is your audience, you have to communicate to your audience. You can't bring the audience to your communication, so you have to communicate what your audience understands. And for that, you have to do that pain point and understanding 60%. I say there is a saying, if you have to cut a tree, spend 95% of the time in, and that's it. Then it's just a matter of few minutes or whatever that time is. In that 5%, you will cut the tree and will bear the fruits. And this is what happens. These are your initial years. Okay, spend as much time as you can to understand the concepts. I can relate to you as a student. If you were a SME player, if you were a corporate executive, then the Gyan would have been different. The Gyan here is something that make your fundamentals strong. That's what Arundhati meant by in your context also. That understand 60% of the time goes into understanding. With this, I want to move to Jay again. Jay, what is it that is changing right now in marketing in your business or in your categories? What change you are seeing inevitably that is going to happen, or also the changes that is happening right now? We can see the shift. I give you an example of the video shopping. Okay, and this I had never envisaged in my last 2 years. When I was talking to the gentleman in 2020, 20,000 rupees, and now 2 lakhs. So how did this happen? So any such trends that you are looking at, and if you can throw some light succinctly, please.
So basically, post digital coming in, innovations has gone into a different level. I just give you an example, basic example. Now, at one point of time, customer doesn't want to buy chimney from online because he doesn't understand what is the size of the chimney he actually requires. And that was the reason for doing direct marketing, because the direct marketing guy used to go, check the size, offering the right solutions, and the product get installed. Now, 2 years before, we were sitting with Flipkart, around 1.5 years before, there are the discussions going on. Because otherwise chimney sale badega nahi, because the consumer will measure and then finding out his SKU will not go to work. So we come up with a very simple AI-driven ideas where GT continuously, but the premiumness or the technology or the feature-based product is moving to e-commerce.
Moving to e-commerce. Your views on this?
Yes, so just adding to that, I think India is a beautiful country, and the beauty of India is that we are so heterogeneous and so different that it has scope for everyone to exist. I mean, when I was in B school, and at this time when modern trade was coming into the picture, and it said like mom and pop shops are going to go away from here, all the commerce will be taken up by modern trade. It hasn't happened. Mom and pop shops still exist. So I think both general trade, modern trade, and now even e-commerce, all three of them exist. So it's maybe counterintuitive what I just spoke, that maybe e-commerce is growing, so maybe it can grow up to 20, 30, 40%. But in future, is it going to be like that e-commerce will be 80, 90%? It's not going to happen. Different format of the commerce is going to stay. General trade will stay, modern trade will stay, because each of them solve their own individual problems. And there are different kinds of consumers. Some consumers are looking for convenience, while others are looking for experience. So if it's convenience, maybe what e-commerce is typically solving for the convenience, that maybe don't have to move a bit. I can just order something while watching Netflix at home. Why do I need to step out, get my car, find a parking? It's a happen to me. While maybe other person is looking to step out of the home. He's saying कि चलो यार mall चलते हैं, family के साथ dinner भी कर लेंगे, shopping कर लेंगे. So there are different problems to solve. So and both will exist. E-commerce, on trade, general trade, all three of them will exist in the future. That's my view.
Thanks. I wanted to share some points with you, regarding consumption and what's going on in the Indian market. Because I see my phone battery going down before it switches off. I just wanted to share these ideas and the factors that are driving consumption today in India. Affluence is number one. Household income is on rise and increasing share of affluent plus elite. So the one part of consumption which is going up is the affluence factor. Second is the awareness factor. Positive outlook towards prospects and propensity to increase spends. That is the awareness factor. Third is the accessibility factor. Access to avenues of consumption like malls, shopping complexes, etc. And the fourth one is the attitude. That is tendency to shop anytime, anywhere, and increasing discretionary expenses. So this four is attitude, accessibility, affluence, and awareness. These are driving consumption in India today. Apart from that, if you look at it, the current consumer sentiment is positive. People are buying big and small purchase makeup. By the numbers that Mukesh and Jay are talking about, 2020 to 2022, 2 years people were not able to buy that kind of thing. So they are making it up. It's not only revenge shopping, that's the wrong word, but they are making it up for temporary gig economy, something that you will also come across. Temporary hiring, that's known as gig economy. It's going to be a $10 billion economy in the current future. Current and future means present future. We are going to get the merchandise, the kind of designs, ideas. Look at the D2C brands, look at their designs, look at the merchandise that's there on the shelf across the country, and it's fresh. Okay, it's inviting. New products are launched, new models are launched, new formats are launched. All this new thing is coming up in this India, and the compelling things, whether it's an online or an offline, it compels us to shop. Okay, so that is also something that is this. Urban consumers' discretionary spends are going up. Rural in the current time has has been a bit slow. So what are the mega trends that are continue to impact the business? One is demographic and social change. Millennials are now decision makers. So you all are the decision makers. Accelerating urbanization, changing lifestyles are now shaping the behavior. We have got climate change and resource scarcity, shift in economic power, tier 2 cities to become new consumption hubs. And we were discussing just before this that how tier 2 and 3 cities and 4 also are becoming consumption hubs in India. And technological breakthrough, the era of everything digital. Okay, we saw the example here that you have to, because everything is becoming digital. Initially I had asked about a couple of points. One of them is value focus, awareness of global fashion and styles, a need of accessible fast fashion, that is one. Health and wellness, people want to eat good, look good and feel good. Growing athleisure choices, jump in variables, etc. Personalization is what has been my favorite word over the last 2-3 years. Personalization. Expect brands to know their taste, value, customized, personalized treatment and products, and premiumization. You don't know how much, Indian premiumization means शादी के time पे आप जाओ और 20, 25, 50 लाख का आपने हार ले लिया. I am just giving an example of luxury. The definition of luxury over the decades in India is, but now that is there, still there, but that premiumization is still growing up. When you talk about personalization, I said expect brands to know their taste. Now the moment I land, now this is something which I give this example everywhere wherever I go, and this is something futuristic. But the moment I land from Bombay to Kolkata, I should get a message on my way to IIFT that okay, welcome Hitesh, and your Starbucks coffee or whatever your cappuccino is XYZ. Yes, it's hot and sunny, so here is your cappuccino, or if it's cold and then I will get a hot coffee or something like that. But that is customized to me. And that offer of whatever it is exclusively to Hitesh, but only. And that's where personalization is coming up, and it's eventually happening. I go to a grocery store and immediately I get a message, okay, your Kashmiri apples are here for you. Why? How come he knows? Because last year during this time I had purchased Kashmiri apples and they have remembered that. He used the word AI. Okay, and there is a lot of AI, ML, AR stuff going on, IoT is going on. You know, my washing machine is automatically going to be get repaired eventually, right? Everybody knows the case. I don't have to. खराब हो गया, message चले जाएगा, and he will send this person, but please phone करके आना. So that is where it is going to be, and that also phone करके आने का, I'm going to get the message. Without my permission, they won't be able to come to my house. So all these things, that's what again technology is the one word that I wanted to mention. Why I'm doing this is we are almost 3:25 right now. I want my panelists to give their final words before we throw this open to the audience here for the question. So we can start with sorry, ladies first. Arundhati, what would be your final words for markets and marketing, evaluation of marketing?
I mean, marketing is exciting. You have chosen a great field. Marketing is where customers come into the business, the organization, the entry point of any, customer into the organization, into the business that you're working with is in marketing. So that is an extremely important part of a business. So don't let it become a brochure making or a website making function. This is something that I have seen a lot of marketing organizations get into, that they're number crunching, or number crunching is even okay, but organization ensure that you're playing a partner to the business, to the sales organization, and don't let anybody tell you that marketing is a brochure making or a website making or a number crunching, organization. This is where organizations get there. The customers enter into your organization through marketing, and remember that. Stay humble. Marketing is full of failures. We are four of us sitting here. The one thing common you will see among the four of us is we have been in good positions. We are in good positions. We have successes, behind us, but we have huge failures behind us. I'm sure everybody will agree. Stay humble, stay a student. Do not, the way you are absorbing today, if you do not absorb at my age, you will be a dinosaur. Finished. Right? So in other functions, they can build on their past experiences. In the last 2 years, what happened? Marketing was turned upside down 3 times over. Minimum. Do you agree, Mukesh? 3 times over. What we knew in 2019 is no longer relevant. Not 2%. I'm carrying 2 to 3% of what I knew in 2019. So learn, keep being a student. So stay humble, stay a student always, because marketing will give you huge successes. Marketing will give you failures, and don't be afraid of failures. And your activities will become very, very boring. You will not be taking risks. Marketing is full of risks. Marketing is full of failures. But you know what? You make organizations. Marketing makes organizations. Organizations are where they are because of how good a marketing they had.
Yeah. Thanks, Arundhati. Your final words, Joy.
So basically, Hitesh has touched a lot of extremely important. Second important point is that I personally think now there are a lot of debates going on in different categories. That does really the brand name only creates values, or the young consumer is looking for a value orientations. And that's why these D2C brands which are offering a specific value is becoming more and more popular. So brand in the name of brand, or it offers a freshen of value every 3 years, or a product line which is requirement for the consumers, which Arundhati talks about, saying that, have an ear and eye open to the market. So these are the one big areas which you need to look into. And the choices are becoming that way, becoming micro segmented. So me and my choice are the two big things which will be coming up. In terms of becoming marketing relevant to the overall business, because I handle a business, or I handling a business for a long time where the marketing team and the product team and the sales team all reports to me. Typically, when you see the people coming from the BA schools or different industry, what I've seen that primarily they don't want to understand the nuances of the particular product category. Please understand, if you need to become a right marketer for a product, you need to understand the product well. And for that, if you need to be in the market, out in the last point of retail, you need to be. You can't say that I handle marketing, these are my definitive, KRAs, I follow that. So the biggest point or biggest gap areas I see, and primarily I'm seeing people from IIMs also, are not very interested about the product nuisance, but you have to. Okay. Now, you may call it a respect for a product, or earlier organization used to have marketers who have done a sales stint and then come to marketing. Probably those are point of relevance, but no more it is relevant because general trade may not be that relevant in next 5-6 years in a lot of categories. But you need to understand the product nuisance, be it any channel. So open your ear and eyes. And second point is, which I have said, that understand the micro segment of the consumers and their choices. Now the two important submissions from my side.
Okay. Finally, I'll address this now because they should not feel sleepy here. The final one, because the theme of right now is the evolution of marketing. So I think marketing very intuitively is actually about evolving. If it's not evolving, it's not marketing. It's as simple as that. We human beings, we've gone through evolution and we are evolving pretty much every day, every month, every year. If the human beings will evolve, our choices will evolve, our consumption will evolve, our behavior will evolve. And marketing is nothing but to know your consumer. So if human beings will evolve, marketing has to evolve. It cannot be a cast in a stone or something that you put it behind 10 years back and now you said that formula should now also work with that. So it's as simple as that. And marketing is extremely simple. As maybe Jay sir just mentioned, the one single thing that you should know or understand about marketing is just to know your consumer. If the consumer is changing, your marketing should change. If your consumer is not changing, the marketing should not change. We do not develop marketing through the boardrooms or through our gut feeling or through our brain power. It's as simple as that. Follow your consumer. If your consumer is changing, shifting, moving, jumping, you just follow them and you'll be home. That's as simple as the marketing learning I have in my 20 years.
Thanks. With this, before we close, we would like to take a couple of questions if you all have any. Any questions?
I think there's a mic.
Good afternoon. I am Apurva from the batch of 24. So we've been seeing a lot of growth in the SME sector, and since we're leading to the goal of India 47, what would be some of the key innovations in the marketing strategy in the same sector?
Sorry, I got distracted. Was it for me?
Purva's question is, what would be the key innovations for 2047 in marketing strategy?
For the SME sector.
For the SME side, okay. That I did not hear.
So the first thing that SMEs need to do you're asking me for recommendations for the SME segment. First thing is to get educated about the role of marketing in SMEs. In B2B, in SMEs both. For the longest amount of time, the SMEs have taken for granted that I have a product, a wonderful product, a very useful product. I am selling at a very great price point, so you should find me and buy from me. And that doesn't happen anymore, right? So the role of marketing to go out to the customer and say that here I am here to solve your XYZ problem. That is something that SMEs and SME leaders need to be more aware about. They're more focused on their product, which is the evolution that larger organizations have gone through in the last 15-20 years. And earlier it was the same, where the idea was that I have a product, it's a fabulous product. I spent a lot of time engineering it, developing it, testing it, whatever. So I have a fabulous product. I have priced it well within your reach. Come and get it. And that doesn't work anymore. And that is the change that SMEs have to work on to change their mindset and lead through marketing. See that there are enough case studies. Like I said, 9 out of 10 companies, the largest companies in the world, are focused on marketing, are marketing led. So it cannot be any different for any other business. That said, will it be digital? Will it be any other digital? I often find it that digital is clubbed as one platform, which it is not. Digital is it's like saying that offline is one channel. Offline is having at least 4-5 major channels, and so does online. So totally we have around 8 to 10 channels that we have to work with as marketers. Which are the 2-3 that we choose?
Experiencing commerce, metaverse, virtual stores. Ultimately, these are all channels which is connecting the brand to the consumers. So life is not going to change beyond metaverse. Okay, metaverse will create the gamifications in the whole experience. Number one. Number two, metaverse will create a kind of virtual experience for you. Now, which will be added back with a lot of backing supports from 5G and all. But the basics of the marketing, which is finding out the right set of consumer and offering them the right solutions, is not going to change. For a brand, spending to digital, if you look at today, ATL, BTL, digital, today, if I take 100 rupees in the spend, you will find out almost around a brand in a consumer electronics space or a few of the other spaces have moved their 15 to 20% overall spend in digital already. Okay. That will be further subsidized, further divided. It will not going to increase. It would be probably that 20-25% of the overall spend. In terms of the marketing strategy, those things will create one of the beautiful innovations for the general trade. So today a general trade can't give a digital experience to them. Tomorrow a small 300 square feet store allows you to find out pictures of your home, put the right product into it and show it what kind of product you can choose. Today a general trade channel can do their in that shop. With the advent of metaverse, a general trade channel can offer the same product or same experience at your home. So yes, there will be different experiences on all channels, but basics of marketing continues to be same.
Just to add on that, we all know today metaverse is a 200 billion opportunity right now. All the major brands like Nike, Adidas, and you name the logos of the world, they are there on metaverse. Even a Kolkata-based QSR brand is there on metaverse. They are telling you come there, experience and encash the NFTs in my store. This is happening. Not a single brand will be left in the next 5 years will not be on metaverse, is what I feel. Okay, and the way it is going today, because everybody is talking about it, and this is what it is. Look and study the NESCOM report. If you guys have not seen that, please study the NESCOM report, which has been released just a few days back or week back, whenever it was. Okay, and this is where it is. You saw when I'm talking about 25 years back, Pepsi and Apollo and the way we used to do the data distribution, stockist and this and that, all that has now come down to the Arzus and the this of the world. Okay, the way it has changed. Similarly, 5 years, 10 years down the line, I will just differ with Jay on the percentage. Okay, the 25% that he said can be 52% also. I mean, I don't know. It can be possible because everything is going to be digital only. Now, stores that you see out here, you just have all those would be digital screens only. 5, 10 years down the line, most of the stores will be digital stores. You go there, touch करो और घर पे आपके सामान आ जाएगा. Okay, so this is where it is moving towards. Now, and that's why they call it as experience studios, or they call it studios or experience zones or experience stores, whatever it is. वहाँ पे आप खरीद नहीं सकते, आपको जाके सिर्फ देखना है. Okay, आपको ये टेबल चाहिए, आप पैसे दीजिए, whatever it is, and it will be delivered at your place. So this is the, now this will come into the, and there are stores, Adidas, all the shoe store, there are so many of them. In fact, in Delhi also, I don't remember the name, but that's where it is coming from. So metaverse, so what will change? The traditional marketing, the percentage will go down. The modern or the digital, what we are talking about, will go up. But this is the future. That's what all the reports are talking about, and that's the reason Meta was changed to Meta. Okay, because it is what it is going to be. So we all have to be what when we used to be in Times of India, and when we used to do the media planning worth couple of crores for a particular brand. Today he said 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, 60% can be digital. And that is a fact because that's where I get my leads. So as a CMO, I know what I have to invest. My best dollar return investment is on digital rather than any activations or a full page ad, or for that matter, even a technical medium like a radio. Even that can give me sometimes getting. So to answer your question about Meta, it is the future.
I have a follow-up question.
Please.
So you see, actually, the metaverse works on virtual reality, which is a very expensive technology in itself. So India being not the most developed nation and lack of technology presented near everyone. So is it possible that India by 2047 can actually be successful?
Before that, before you complete your question, it will be before that. When mobile came, I don't know, many of you must be a couple of years old. I'm talking about 96 or 95, it was 16 rupees per minute. Okay, it was 16 rupees per minute. Today it is, I think, free. Calling free है, सोचो. और ये आज नहीं हुआ, कुछ साल पहले हो गया है. And this is the revolution. And when you speak about the cost part of it, yeah, it's like it's going to be like very 16 and free. ऐसा ही हो जाएगा. Because the money you will understand कि मैं आपको device दे दूँगा. तो क्योंकि वो free है, but actually free नहीं है. आपको मैं क्या करूँगा? आपको मैं पिक्चर की टिकट में फ्री दे दूँगा. लेकिन पॉपकॉर्न सीधा 300, 500, 1000, something like that. I'm just give a random radical example, but it's not free actually. It's I give you this mobile free, but it's not. I'm going to recover this money. So there is no free lunch. Okay, तेल तेरी से निकलेगा. So having said that, this part of your question is absolutely right today. Eventually, economies of scale, and because we have seen, I have interacted with people who are manufacturing this kind of stuff or who are importing it from China, and huge mega plans are going on amongst various players to get into this space because it's right now it's at a very nascent stage. So if you want to become a millionaire overnight, or if you want to become a unicorn, get into metaverse. And related, I'm talking about Web3 overall, not only metaverse. It's Web3.
I have a question to all the panelists. I'm Rahul Shankar. So as India moves towards a rapidly digitalizing economy, do you think consumers will opt for the convenience of e-commerce or the more experiential form of digital marketing? Do we have a clear winner?
Yeah, let me do a survey here. Rahul is asking, okay, आप में से कितने जन online लोगे and how many of you will go for offline? Let's do, then we'll ask Jay and others to answer. Okay, online, hands up.
Oh, category. Okay, okay. So wait, then let me. आप मुझे पूछो, मैं उसको पूछूंगा ना. Product.
Across sectors and aggregate.
Aggregate. ठीक है. Now this is the answer. Aggregate. So you'll have to. So for example, groceries में अगर online मंगाता हूँ या कपड़े में online मंगाता हूँ या मैं electronics online मंगाता हूँ, मैं क्या online नहीं मंगाता हूँ, car online नहीं मंगाता हूँ, right? So this is the question. Now give me answer. How many of you will go for online and how many of you will go for offline? So online first. Okay, and offline so that I मतलब white पहने तो थोड़ा दिखने का. Yes. So see, this is the percentage in your batch only, and you can extrapolate it. This is the common trend because these are the people who are using it more. Okay, when I say using it more, there is one more concept known as the concept of digital age. How many of you know the concept of digital age? None. Okay. So the concept of digital age is like this way. Whether you are 6 years or 60 years, 7 years or 70 years, आपकी उम्र कितनी बड़ी है digitally, वो आपकी digital savviness से पता चलेगी. Okay, so even if you are 60 years old, you may not, your digital age may be very, very low. But the 6-year or a 7-year-old's digital age may be extremely high vis-a-vis the 60, 70-year-old. So that is the digital age. The more your digital age, the higher your digital age, the more proficient and more successful you can become. Okay, now the definition of that digital is not only how you know to handle a mobile. That's not what it is. Obviously it is. But how do you do your transactions, your financial transactions, your travel transactions, your utility transactions, your home transactions, so on and so forth. So all that becomes a part of your digital age. Okay, so to cut it short, because we will be touching 4 very soon. Any other question, or we can go for the last question, please.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sir, as we mentioned in the discussion as well, that COVID has changed marketing and marketing strategies. So